Greetings everybody. For the final time, I am Batman. And I'm here to welcome you back to Batman Arkham Asylum. By God, has that joke run its course?
Guest list only. If your name's not on the list, you ain't going in. Let's see, A, no, that's not right. So it's B, Bane. Ah, here it is, Batman. Hey, looks like you're the guest of honor. Give him a big welcome, guys.
Woohoo! Yeah, that's right, I'm the guest of honor. Yeah, woohoo, yeehaw, and whoopee. And yeah, you can actually get a trophy here called Party Pooper if you beat up all these thugs, but you know what, they're just here to celebrate a party, they're not doing anything too bad, and you know, they may be criminals, Robin, but they are still human beings, just like drinkers. But yeah, I mean, you can beat them up if you want for like a trophy or achievement, but we just can't be bothered. It's been a long enough playthrough as it is, and it's time we bring this crazy party to its conclusion. So let's just move on. And yes, the Visitor Center is very much the epicenter. We've been building up to this all night, we've been visiting here time and time again, there's no way out. So let's pay Joker a little visit.
Are you excited, Bats? I mean, we've been building up to this point all night. Don't tell me you've not been looking forward to it. I know I have. Surprise! Everyone always said I should be in television. You don't want to miss this, really. It'll be a blast.
Kill your TV, man. By the way, it doesn't matter how far back you go, or even if you hide behind one of the pillars like I attempt to do, you're still gonna be caught in the blast radius, which... would that really work in a place like this? Because, I mean, we're already far enough away, it should only destroy the glass that's over there, and, by the way, if you look right here, we're somehow propelled forward from an explosion that's all the way over there, except we're... what? I mean, I know explosions do create a bit of a vacuum during the initial blast, but that's not how science, brain, aneurysm, exploding, need thinky parts, or Titan injection. Grr, me am Superman. Oh, generic choir.
Why didn't you stop Batman?
Me? It was your plan, you goofy clown! I'm sending you back to the ventriloquist where you belong. You had to spoil everything, didn't you? Beating up Bane, feeding Scarecrow to Croc, slapping around Harley, my hobby, by the way, and ruining all my lovely Venom plans.
It's over, Joker.
Over? Why, my dear delusional Dark Knight, it hasn't even begun.
God, heavens to fucking Betsy, you couldn't fucking help it, could you? You needed to have one more Goon Rush Titan Thug beat me up sugar me do, just to pad out the runtime, and again, I did say that the last part of the game is where the game tends to run out of steam, and that's a bit of a disappointment, really, because, I mean, we're fighting two Titan Thugs, kind of similar to the last time we did it, and now there's goons, with Joker providing color commentary. Again, it's funny, but it's a lot of stuff we've pretty much seen before, and, yes, the idea well was running well dry at this point, so, yeah, it's pretty much the same sort of strategy you had before, pretty much just take out the two Titans as you go around, knock them down to the point where they're a bit stunned, you ride around the Titan radio, spin your partner round and round, slap them on the arse, nice and flound, whatever. Anyway, this does get a little bit annoying because, again, in a similar vein to what I pointed out during the Poison Ivy boss fight, you pretty much have the goons just running about giving Batman all this. In the meantime, you're either getting smacked around by the Titan Thugs, or inversely, you're focusing on the Titan Thugs, but then getting pip damaged by goons being like, "Oh, take down the Batman for the Bosch." And, yeah, it's just kind of irritating at this point. we've already done this before, and even in this case, there's really no new party tricks that the Joker can pull out, so... Really, it's, very disappointing party. Goes out with a fizzle, but not a bang. I'm not really too sure what to call this one. I was thinking about some party wrap-up terms. I was thinking closing term, but, whimper, not a bang, maybe? Queesh, I'll figure it out as soon as I'm done with the pod, but, anyway, this is very much the end. The final note that Arkham Asylum ends on, and it's, a bit of a weak one. Still a fairly fun game overall, though, but now we're getting into Final Thoughts territory. Not as if I really have too much else to say apart from that, because... Well, again, we've pretty much seen all that we have to see in the Arkham series, no, the Arkham Asylum adventure. Apart from the Scarface puppet, which Joker seems to have co-opted, I mean... In terms of the Arkham continuity, Albert Wesker is dead, you know, so there's no Scarface technically anymore, but... Yeah, they do get mileage out of the Scarface puppet, which in Arkham City gets a rather bizarre Joker Jr. makeover. Yes, indeed, Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, happens to the Scarface puppet, and then Joker gets shot with a bang gun or slips and falls in the censored version. Which I actually kind of prefer now that we're talking about Return of the Joker, because, I don't know, I mean, it was a censored death, but it was actually far more brutal than the death they actually had in the unrated cut. Well, I mean, again, it is also sort of foreshadowed with the death of Bonk in Return of the Joker, but I don't know. I like electricity deaths. They're very static. It'll put a shock to your system. By the way, are we also supposed to gather that, like, 2 of these Arkham guards have been Titanized? I mean, I guess it's meant to be because I guess they were test subjects, but really, we don't know who they are, so wouldn't it have had more impact if it was, like, a major... Like, if it was a major character like Aaron Cash or something? I don't know, I mean, maybe they didn't want to take out the character themselves because they wanted to use them for future games, as they would end up doing, but it does strike me as a little bit odd that they have the, oh no, not these people who we don't know. Well, okay, every life is sacred and the Batman must fight for justice? I don't know, it's a bit weird to be honest. Anyway, enjoy more cutscenes. Whoopee.
Nicely done, Bats. You deserve a prize. Your old pal, Commissioner Gordon. Say, he looks all run down. Let's pep him up.
No! Batman! Get away!
Here we go! We're gonna have some fun now, kiddies! You're trying to resist the change! That's not fair! Come on, get in!
By the way, my favorite line coming in 3, 2, 1.
So, you wanna play hardball, Bats, do ya? Your call. Pickle, pickle. No! Oh, you're ruining my big night! Months of planning down the crapper. I just wanted to bring down your grim facade and for once let you see the world as I see it, giggling in a corner and bleeding. But you've denied me even that. I have nothing to live for.
Arkham Asylum remains under lockdown, its staff at the mercy of the rampaging inmates. Just 10 minutes ago, we received this taped message.
Greetings, Gotham! Joker here! Arkham is mine! Soon I'll unleash madness untold onto the streets of Gotham. But first, direct your eyes to the rooftops and witness the final destruction of your dear Dark Knight.
We've been circling the tower since the... Wait, there! Joker's making his move!
Showtime, Batman!
Never.
You wasted the antidote on yourself? Now that's funny! Hysterical! But you still spoil my fun, and for that, I'll paint Arkham with your blood. Let's get ready to tango!
And so we have our final boss fight. Regular Batman versus Titan Joker. He's got very Mr. X-like sharp claws, he's got a bizarro fucking mohawk for some reason, and thank goodness his pants stayed on. And yeah, he just gets bored like a fucking shit cunt and just goes off to wave towards his media before going, "Come in and soften him up for me, boys," while occasionally sending in Christmas presents of chattering teeth that blow up and just gonna ignore wee pish, really. It's incredibly disappointing, and again, if you want to win at this boss fight, I do recommend you take out the goons first, lure the exploding, chattering teeth towards the goons so you can at least take them down a little bit easier, and then, you know, use your takedown smash, but apart from that, though, this is a really disappointing final boss fight. Not only for the fact that you barely get to fight Titan Joker as is, I mean, they're not impossible to defeat as we've seen beforehand, but the way in which you take him down is, it's useless. I mean, look, like this, you launch your grapple hook up, you pull him down, and, yeah, again, if you don't take out all the thugs, you pretty much have to beat them all up again. Joker's like, "Oh dear, nice joke, Batman, send in some more boys! Don't forget to use your nails, scouts!" And then you pretty much gotta do the whole thing over again, just make sure you defeat all the guards, and by the time, you know, Joker turns his back, use the ultimate backclaw, then drag him down, then beat him up, repeat the process another 2 times, and that's pretty much all she wrote. I mean, I really don't know what I would have done in exchange, like whether or not I would have had like a Titanized Batman versus a Titanized Joker, but would have been something different, I guess, but really, I mean, it makes sense to have fight like a more beefed up version of the Joker that he would use it on himself as a last-ditch effort, but really, that's also kind of, I suppose what really disappoints me is really just the lack of variety in terms of how you're taking the Joker down. Like, I mean, maybe if you had like an early variant of what they would later use for Mr. Freeze in Arkham City, like you lure Joker towards, you know, specific things that could damage him, you know, no 2 attacks will work twice. Maybe that would be something to win the game on the strongest note, but as it stands, you're pretty much taking out the Joker in a very similar fashion to how you took out a lot of the other boss fights, and even in that case, you still have the final boss fight of the game, including this whole, you know, Goon Rush Sugar-Me-Doo, which has been played out, done to death from moment 1 of the game till the very end, and really, it's repetitive as hell. And I do apologize if I'm being negative on this final note of a game that I otherwise actually quite happen to like, but really, it's one of the biggest flaws of Arkham Asylum that, again, the combat is fun at its base level, and again, there is a certain rhythmic timing to the whole thing. It's just that, again, when you're trying to go at it from its base level from an experimental standpoint, you don't really have a lot of opportunities to have more interesting boss fights. Again, you're not doing anything to sort of, you know, turn your coat and whirl the cape at a Joker. You're using the backclaw, I guess, but really, you're not doing anything that's functionally different from how you took down the other boss fights, which is, quite frankly, disappointing. Not to mention the enemy dynamics in and of themselves when you're taking out Titan Joker is also very piss poor, because, again, you can't even technically attack him like you're using the Batarang strategy against the other Titan goons, which doesn't work on Joker, so you're pretty much just giving him the runaround, fighting regular goons, which you've done for ages at this stage, and even then, you're pretty much just pulling him down, giving him a 1-2-3 punch, and that's pretty much that. And even for the final blow, you don't even do that, you just lure him down once again to have Joker bust through his face on the floor and, well, electrocute him. Hence why I brought up the Batman Return of the Joker Censored Edition. Yes, yes, it's all coming together. But yeah, that's also pretty much it. The goons will gradually get more, you know, technical. They'll have, like, stun batons, you'll have the Slipknot goons, and, you know, they'll try and grab weapons or whatever, but really, again, this changes nothing. Enemy dynamics are very static in this game, and I guess it makes for a very flat challenge that anybody could technically complete, which adds to ease of accessibility, but again, when you're trying to have your final crescendo punch up with, you know, the final boss fight, it's either go big or go home, really. In this game, well, I mean, it's got size, but it ain't got it where it counts. Because it ain't the size that counts, asshole. It's what you do with it.
anything you throw at me, Bats. You can't beat me. I'm actually going to win. Ready for the next round?
Always.
What?
I'll never let you win. Never.
I'm fine, Barbara. The GCPD finally has control of the asylum. Doctors are treating the injured, but it looks like it'll take some time. All super criminals are back in custody. Quite a mess in there. And the venom-enhanced inmates are returning to normal. Though for some, the process can be quite painful.
Dad, how are you doing?
I'll survive. See you tonight, Barbara. Shame about your car. Can I give you a ride?
Thanks, Jim, but I have one on the way.
Get some rest. You deserve it.
Second National Bank was just robbed by Harvey Dent, a.k.a. Two-Face.
Stay safe, Jim.
2 officers down. The suspect is fleeing in their patrol.
No rest for the Batman. Now we gotta deal with the Two-Face thing, although hopefully Batman just goes home, does a little bit of breakfast. I don't know, maybe has a shower. Queashed. No rest for the Batman, or maybe he just goes home, raises a gun at Two-Face and says, "Fuck it, I quit, where's McGinnis?" Well, I mean, whatever. Anyway, that was Batman Arkham Asylum. The Return to Arkham edition, with very lengthy credits. Yeah. So, final thoughts on Arkham Asylum. Very fun game. Again, base combat, pretty good. Enemy dynamics when fighting them are okay, basic, but they work. Stealth sections, excellent. Again, a lot of reactive enemy AI, a lot of interesting ways in which you can dispatch your foes, make them afraid of the Batman. And again, in terms of exploration and like a lot of the, a lot of the more technical things, like getting dynamic conversations out of characters, pretty good stuff. It makes a lot of return playthroughs to the game really fun, and even with, the very pish, walking and talking sequences, where Batman's on the radio going, "Shh, Oracle, I need to do a thing, deliver exposition." There is at least some entertaining voice acting on hand, not just from, the additional staff, but also from, the Rogues Gallery, like, Arlene Sorkin as Harley Quinn, Mark Hamill as Joker. Again, Arkham Asylum is a pretty well-rounded game, except for the very crusty 10th of the game, which is the game's boss fights, which, again, start off reasonably impressive. Again, you're fighting off against titans and whatever, giant plants, Bane, and, all that kind of good stuff, so it looks interesting. But then you realize that you're doing functionally the same thing to defeat all these enemies, and that's when your game reviewer brain sort of starts to turn against Batman Arkham Asylum in the sense that you're basically doing functionally the same thing to take out each of these enemies. Killer Croc is pretty much the exception, but that's only because you don't even technically fight him, you just run away, which I will admit is an interesting inverse of the prey-predator dynamics that I've been working with throughout the game. See, look, there's even Killer Croc right above there. But at the same time, though, it's, again, it's a 10th of the game that really does kind of hamper the experience, even if slightly. Not enough to ruin the game outright, but it is at least enough to make you go, yes, it's not quite up to par. Yes, Batman Arkham Asylum is a fine vintage of a game, worthy of the Batman video game title. And I mean, really, there's not much competition, because, what else is there? Batman for NES, the Batman Returns beat-em-up game, the Batman Begins tie-in game, possibly? Rise of Sinzu, depending on who you ask. Yeah, there's really not many contenders up with the Arkham games, so, and, it did leave a rather important legacy, so while basic as it might be in terms of a combat schema and what it did for its boss fights, they would improve upon this, and other games and, combat schemes would pretty much take this and run with it, so fare thee well, classic God of War 3 and Devil May Cry 3 action formula. You'll be sorely missed. No longer will we have double jumps in our games, now we just have to do a Batman thing, or do a sluggish whatever dealio. But anyway, I suppose, any last words to say about the story of Arkham Asylum? Reasonably solid for the most part, although there is a bit of padding here and there between, I'd say it's really just sort of the midway point between synthesizing the cure and then, before getting to the final party or whatever. I mean, Riddle Trophies, Spirit of Arkham stuff, that's all side venture stuff that you can do in your own time and you aren't forced to at any point. To me, it's just that the story suffers from a bit of padding towards the end of the game, which was really just to extend game time from what it appears to be for me, but apart from that, the story is reasonably solid, it starts a pretty solid hook for the rest of the Arkham series, and does have some pretty light peppering of moments throughout the game that are quite memorable. Scarecrow nightmare sequences, Killer Croc's lair. And I mean, really, it does have a few nice characters to boot, so I'm reasonably satisfied. And yeah, I did say that these credits are long, and considering that it's also a porting job with the Return to Arkham stuff, that is also including, you know, additional porting stuff crediting as well, that yeah, to be honest, nothing I don't think will ever beat Sonic Colors Ultimate in terms of credits, to the point where they were so inept at porting that game, that the credits music actually stopped halfway through and you were listening to nothing but silence. It just makes you want to scream professionally made product, but anyway, there is also one other thing I want to touch on, and something I didn't actually realize before starting the commentary, mainly because, well, I started recording this in around about August, actually, and I believe it was August 24th, I might be wrong about the date, but it was around August of this year, actually, that Harley Quinn voice actress Arlene Sorkin, the original voice actress of the character, had passed away. I didn't know this for the entirety of the commentary until I was rendering part 22, and oh boy, a lot of those phrases about her being the best and hoping to see that she returns someday. Well, I mean, it does still hold true. I do still consider her to be the best Harley Quinn voice actress, but yeah, she passed away from, I think it was pneumonia and some other sickness. I can't quite remember at this stage, but yes indeed, rest in peace, Arlene Sorkin. This may have in fact been one of your finest performances, so it does actually kind of make this playthrough a little bit bittersweet, to be honest, because I didn't actually know that, and it's saddening, really. I didn't expect people to die. Why must everybody pass away? But, anyway, all that aside, really. Again, if you're thinking about picking up Batman Arkham Asylum, well, again, I mean, you do have the Return to Arkham ports, which, I mean, you should be able to get fairly cheap in a bargain bin nowadays, or if not that, then on digital storefronts, because I realize nowadays that physical media is going the way of the dodo, much to my chagrin, but, you know, you can still pick it up, and I believe, again, if it isn't already out now, then at least sometime soon, you actually are getting ports of the original Arkham Asylum and Arkham City from the Nintendo Switch, which they are actually porting the original version, so for those of you that really don't like the, you know, the more colourful and vibrant Batman Return to Arkham ports, well, there you go, you can get the original stuff back again as it was meant to be. And I think they're also porting Arkham Knight to the Switch as well, so bonus deal right then and there. Delicious like chicken. And, oh my goodness, we've got a fuckload more credits. How am I gonna pad this shite out? I mean, I could just let everything play out, but, yeah, to be honest, these credits are a little bit pish, because it's really just sort of ambient music with generic, oh. I suppose I might as well talk about the soundtrack of the game, which I've kind of been ignoring up until this point, composed by Nick Arundel. And, yeah, I like the atmospheric tracks. The rest of it, though, is just sort of very... I mean, it fits the gothic Batman mood, but a lot of it is also very generic, sort of like, oh, Batman, epic, dun 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 dun, which seems like they kind of wanted to ape a sort of middle ground between the Danny Elfman score for the Tim Burton movies and the sort of like modernized Christopher Nolan Batman scores, which, was it by Hans Zimmer, I think? Yeah, it tries to go for a mixture between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight and the Batman Returns and Batman 89, really, which, I mean, it's okay, but I mean, there are some tracks that I do actually quite like. One of my personal favorites, actually, being The Visitor's Center. Very ambient, very cool, and actually does make a nice reprise in the credits of Arkham City, which is also rather bone-chilling for the messages you get from both Joker and Harley Quinn in that game. Whew, makes me feel a little bit cold. But yes, to talk about anything else in terms of, you know, Batmanish things, well, I cover Arkham City. More than likely, although that game's gonna be a very astronomical task, so that probably won't be for quite a while, but rest assured I will get to it at some stage. It's just again, like, I mean, excuse me. I did kind of bring it up in at least somewhat in jest during Arkham Asylum, how you have a lot of side tangents like, oh no, we're gonna stop the Joker, but first we're gonna stop Poison Ivy from using plans to destroy everything. Oh no, now we gotta make a detour to kill a Croc. Oh no, now we gotta go to the Arkham Mansion to stop Warden Sharp from doing a thing. Arkham City is absolutely ripe with a lot of those side tangents, because, okay, now we gotta go off and confront Mr. Freeze in order to stop the Joker, but oh no, the Penguin's doing a thing, so now we gotta stop him. Oh look, it's Two-Face and he has Catwoman. Let's go and stop that. And that's not even beginning to get into the vast amount of side quests that pop up every which way and sideways, including rescuing political prisoners, including, you know, stopping Deadshot from doing a thing, and of course, you know, popping balloons and doing Riddler challenges, and Jesus Christ, it's just so much to freaking do. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking for some very meaty games to tide you over, I mean, the Arkham series will have you gnawing a fine meaty paste of Batman-y goodness that, again, I do recommend, even if you aren't comic book fans. I mean, again, the game does contain bios, so you can read up on a lot of Batman's rogues galleries. The games themselves, I feel, are nicely paced sort of in the middle ground, where, you know, the weigh-ins can, you know, easily look at it without, you know, getting too disturbed by blood or New 52 edginess, and likewise, older audiences can pretty much play these games without, you know, walking through a video game store, it's like, oh, you're picking up a superhero game? Yes, well, those games are rather for babies. I mean, even though that's not really a mindset anymore, because superheroes make some serious fucking bank. Well, I mean, more or less anyway, but that's neither here nor there in this case. I mean, if it seems like I'm rambling, it's kind of because I am, because we've still got mounds of fucking credits to go through, because, yeah, we gotta give credits to Warner Brothers Games, and we gotta give credits to fucking Warner Brothers Benelux, and fucking Domino's Pizza Man, who gave Sefton Hill his pizza at, like, 3 in the afternoon that day, and then he eventually got his name in the game, because he was delivered by Luke Oliver. But, anyway, two other things I really want to apologize for. One, sorry for not showing off the Joker challenge maps, but I can't be asked. And, two, really sorry for not showing off the challenge maps in general. You do actually get a few unlockable, things here and there, like, I mean, you get, like, an armored Batman costume, which is, doesn't really give you any buffs in combat, it's really just a different skin, really. One thing that, Sir Isaac Fortescue actually brought up in terms of, at least in terms of, like, the challenge maps thing, is that it would have been cool, like, you know, during the nightmare sequences where you can change into Scarecrow, that you would have had, like, a Scarecrow skin. Like, again, you could have even changed some of the finishes around, where, like, all you had to do, like, to take down enemies was, like, inject them with fear gas or toxin or whatever. That would have been pretty cool. Yeah, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. But, I suppose for anything else, really, in terms of what games I'm covering next, it's pretty much gonna be Birth by Sleep, going forward, really. I might have another game break up between, Aqua and Terror Story when we finally get there, because, again, I know not a lot of people are always into Birth by Sleep, so I gotta keep them in mind when trying to entertain them between the between the bloody interim of reviews, which at this point is Silent Hill Downpour, which I'm still currently working on. So yeah, that's a wee bit pish. But yeah, between Aqua and Terror Story will be the original 1991 Mega Drive game Sonic the Hedgehog, which is fairly quick, snappy, and I can easily use that to give me a bit of prep time between getting Aqua and Terror Story done. And after that, I'm not too sure. That'll pretty much be it for this year. Oh, thank God we have fucking Quebec Q&A testers and whatever else. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So, how's everybody been doing? Answers in a postcard as to what you've been doing recently. Having fun? Enjoying anything else? I could recommend another commentary. It's the Media Nerds Dragon Ball Z Budokai commentary. Watch it now! Because by God, it's more entertaining than watching these fucking slow-ass credits scroll down. You know what, I think I'm pretty much done here. I've said all I have to say, so, you know what, enjoy the rest of this atmospheric credits music. I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and, yeah, I hope you enjoy the Batman Arkham Asylum commentary. Catch you next time, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.